Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Shelter Crush Show. Today is Wednesday, November the 2nd, 2022. And we have a lot of situation here. Yesterday, the Brooklyn Nets fouled Steve Nash yesterday. And the Kyrie Irving situation. Boy, I gotta tell you, the Nets are 2-6 in the season. It's the early season, and something's gotta change. Although Steve Nash got fouled yesterday, and sometimes it is. And KD just won, Steve. And what has happened to the Golden State Warriors? They 3-5 now. Now they're in a tough situation. Lakers are in a slow start. The Cleveland Cavaliers are in a hot start. And then Milwaukee Bucks, they are 6-0 in the standings in the NBA. Well, I don't think it should be continuing this drama soap opera. But I'm sure it didn't. Something has to be done. Well, that's what it is, and it just goes to something that everything that can happen in the NBA, right? And that's what it is. Steve Downs got fouled. Well, we'll take it back last year, a couple years ago, and then started the last year. KD got injured. That was 2019, an off season. And then 2020, 2021, and then 2020 season, KD was back for the Nets, had a great start, looking to win the NBA championship. He and Kyrie Irving, and they lost to the Bucks in the July, in the summer of 2021 season. And then last season, they went on to the conference finals, and then that was the seventh of the seed, but then lost to the Celtics. It was 4-0, and KD and Kyrie everything they done. Well, guess what? Steve Nash, the former head coach, was fouled yesterday, and now it appears that who will be the interim head coach in the Brooklyn Nets. Well, last night they went on to lose to the Chicago Bulls, 109 to 99, 109 to 97. I don't give a damn about this whole stuff that's going on. But anyway, it is what it is, and they have to live with it. Kyrie Irving had no points. Kevin Durant had 30 points last night. So anyway, for real. Well, let's go on to this Kyrie Irving situation, and Wayne Mike called his situation. What I'm talking about. Now look at this. Here's the news of the big league. Now it says there has been quite a public response to Kyrie Irving tweeting out a link to the movie containing strong as messages that there hasn't been much in the way of the condemning and outreach statements, Irving statements from those around the league, the NBA and the NBA PA. Irving is a vice president in a little organization. Released statements condemning intermission in any form, but did not specify what they were talking about. They're the same thing. Intentionally enough, the only individual near the situation who called out Irving by name was Joe Test, Irving's boss. Other than just Test thought, most had chosen shoes to dance one who said what exactly, and seemed happy to release blinding statements of support for the Jewish community for a league filled with athletes who have been at the forefront of social justice movements in the country for a few years now. It feels quite disappointing that all Irving's colleagues around the league have decided to avoid addressing his actions completely. Reggie Miller gave voice to that disappointment during TNT's broadcast of Nets Bulls last night. He said the players dropped the ball by staying quiet here, and it is especially disappointing after those same players successfully pushing for Robert Servo to sell the Suns by openly condemning the racist and sexist comments he made. As transcribed by the New York Post, in years past, this league has been great because the players have led the way and they have strong voices, Miller said. When Donald Sterling stepped in it, while Robert Server just recently stepped in it. Our voices in the basketball community and our players were voluntarily strong in some type of discipline being handed down or be gone. The players had dropped the ball on this case when it's been on one on their own. It's been crickets, Miller added. And it's disappointing because this league has been built on the shoulders of the players being advocates. White is white and wrong is wrong. If you're going to call out owners and rightful so, then you got to call out players as well. You can't go selling in tons of this for Kyrie. I want to hear the players and their strong opinions as well. Just as we heard about Robert Silver and Donald Sterling, Elliott is a spot on him. It is good for him he voiced these thoughts on the national broadcast because boilerplate statements of apology aren't going to be enough when someone as famous as Irving is treated. Holocaust is denied in movies to millions of people. It shouldn't matter that Irving is one of them. When shitty people say shitty things, they should get caught out for it. They should get caught out for it. The silence on the players was and remains defending. It's a real shame that comments like these from Miller and the inside the NBA guys is the only forward facing defense against Irving the public has seen. It is what it is, folks. And ladies and gentlemen, I don't understand why Kyrie only doing something thing when he posted. And that's what happened on Twitter. Well, it's a shame. It is a shame that Kyrie over had done this. I never seen him do it in the first place. It didn't spoil to the mirror after his team lost last night. It is what it is. I mean, they won the game at home against the Pacers. I mean, they won the road. I mean, but look, give me the break. I don't understand about. I can't stand Kyrie on it. I mean, he's just a hard-headed guy. Calvin Irving is a hard-headed guy. You don't. I mean, that's just wrong, very wrong. Calvin Irving's in the button. Calvin Irving in the button somebody. Next question. Then he keep on. Next question. And yes, he needs to show discipline. So anyway, they were looking to get Kyrie Irving's team out. They wanted to get Kyrie Irving out of the team. Now the NBA 12 reacts as Kyrie only has his worst game as a net in loss. Now, the Brooklyn Nets had no answers for Chicago Bulls star Zach LaVine, who outscored the Nets on his own in a full quarter to power veteran in Chicago to a 108-99 win. The Nets lead by 3 to start the final quarter, but a clutch won by Levan midway through the period broken the game open for Chicago. With the Nets up 93 to 90, Levan hit back-to-back threes and knocked away Van Veer's crippled a 10-0 run that all but still the win. Kevin Durant scored 32 points, surpassing the 3-point mark for the sixth time in 8 games this season. But he received no scoring help from star teammate Kyrie Irving, who had one of the most offensive performances of his career. Irving shot 2 of 12 from the field and finished with just 4 points, his lowest total since joining the Nets. So look at this. Kyrie last night, 4 points, 2-12 from the field goal, and 0-6 3-points. His first point in a game as the next. So anyway, Ron Lewis posted on Twitter. He said Kyrie Irving has 4 points on 2 of 12 field goals shooting, and it's minus 14. But the fact is the Nets lead by a dozen and flushing in this wrong way. And clearly upset, KD walks off, heading to the locker room after that, coughing up at 24-11, wanted to close the game. And he goes on, Jacqueline Vaughn, on if Kyrie was distracted. I told the guys there's no excuse. Whether it's back-to-back, no excuse. No excuses. Whether the Kings and ceremony or today, no excuses. This is what we do for a living. We want we sign up for. It was game day, so we gotta bring it. The things are just locking this in. Kyrie had 0 points on the 3-point range. And it is what it is. 0 points behind the arc, 4 points, 12 field goals. It is what it is, and Kyrie gotta remember that. It is what it is, and just like that, his team lost. And I think Kyrie has to learn how this can happen. Now the election is 6 days away. I just gotta say what's going to happen, what's going on. I don't know what's happening, but I do know this. It is what it is. So I'm not doing this for. I'm not saying anything about it. I'm just gonna let it go. Now the NBA icon Shaquille O'Neal is fed up with controversial Brooklyn Nets star Kyrie Irving. That's why he was so sick of Kyrie Irving because of what the thing he is. Now it's just something. It was all on Kyrie Irving. Now former NBA star Charles Barkley slammed NBA Commissioner Adam Silver was jurist for not suspending Brooklyn Nets All-Star Kyrie Irving after he promoted in the Optimus Testament film on his Twitter account. Now, I think Adam should have suspended him. First of all, Adam's jurist, you can't take my $40 million and insult my religion, Barkley said, referencing Irving's contract during a Tuesday night statement of the popular NBA on TNT panels that airs on the network before, during, and after game broadcasts. The NBA has suspended people and fined people who have made a lot of slurs, and that was the right thing to do. Barkley added, If you insult the black community, you should be suspended or fined heavily. Former star Shaquille O'Neal, also a longtime member of the TNT panel, called Irving an idiot for sharing a link to a film that promotes the idea that Jews dominated the slave trade, among other likely conspiracy theories. Barkley, who has called out harassment from black athletes in the past and has a Jewish son-in-law, was the latest to join a chorus of increasingly shocked charisma aiming at Owen, the next and the NBA over the situation. Over, who doubled down on his right to share the link to the film but little deleted his tweets, has not been disciplined. The Nets general manager said Tuesday that the team is in a decision with the entire definitively about next steps. Nike, Irving's biggest sponsor, said in a statement that the company condemns all forms of hate speech. Several promoters, sports worlds, and commentators have been arguing that the Nets' reaction time on the Irving saga have been too slow. NBA reporter Bon Winhouse devoted an episode of his podcast to the controversy, calling the Nets' reaction frickless. Rich Ellis, an NFL Network host who is Jewish, got emotionally in criticizing Irving in the podcast episode Monday. Lord didn't mention me, Kyrie. I'm a Jewish man, okay? Ellis said, references to Irving's chant that a reporter at a press conference was then hesitating him with a question about the tweet. Essentially, the people who died in gas chambers and got insensitive by now is not funny. For real. Ellis also, Ellis also noted that the voice Kyrie was worried about the Jews appearing in Ellis' intent and mentioning banners being hung over highways in recent days and were projected onto a college football stadium. He called those incidents really scary. Nets head coach Steve Nash was fired on Tuesday, ushering for the team's 4-2-6 record to start the season. The team is close to hiring Armin Alcott, the former Boston Celtics head coach who was suspended by the team for the inappropriate relationship with Cincinnati. Amon Stoudemire, the former NBA star and former Nets coach who converted to journalists in 2020, pushed for Irving to have intentional conversations with the commissioner about what he's doing, and what his plans are as a basketball player. So we gotta make sure about this. All this stuff going on, all this Kyrie Irving stuff that's going on, talks about the Jewish people. I mean, why in the world is he gonna have to say that? For real. Look, it's not gonna be funny. It's not gonna go well. I ain't laughing. Ain't nothing funny for real. It's not funny. It's not fun to say that. For real. We all know the Calais West Pass. We all know about the whole stuff situation that can happen anytime in sports, in Hollywood, and everything else that goes on around. But the one thing that we do know is that people on the black community is all Black Lives Matter. And we should know Black Lives Matter. It's just it's just a matter of time before something like that happens. And we all have to stand up for it. Until then, I'm Joseph Crudup. I will see you tomorrow. Until then, take care, everybody.